is not a feeling. Fat is a descriptor. So when I say I'm fat, I'm saying that my body is larger. It contains more fat. But when you say I feel fat, you're substituting it for something else that you're really feeling, because fat is not a feeling. So you're really trying to say, I feel bad about myself, I feel ugly, I don't feel great today. So I really challenge you, if you want to be an ally to larger bodied people, do not say I feel fat, because fat is not a feeling and fat is not a bad word unless you make it one and you make it synonymous with words that mean bad or ugly. So don't use I feel fat. Got it?
Yo-yo and hello, my name is Lydia, and on today's episode of my 25-pound yo-yo, we will be talking about the phrase, I feel fat. And is fat an actual emotion? Well, there's been a lot of this phrase going around on TikTok, on Instagram, and other social media about how fat is not a feeling. Well, I'm not really about telling people what they can and cannot feel. So let's dissect the phrase, I feel fat, and see for ourselves if it is indeed a valid emotion. Let's start with checking the grammar of if I feel fat is a valid sentence. So I'm going to use Grammarly for this check. Today, my pants did not fit. I feel fat. And there are no errors. And just in case you might think that Grammarly wouldn't throw any errors, I'll show you that it does. If I did something like that, I get an error. That's gobbledygook. Or if I put in a word that doesn't make any sense, like I feel car, it'll tell me that I need to add an article because car is a noun. But it's completely okay for me to say that I feel fat. So grammatically speaking, I feel fat is a valid sentence. The next argument that I consistently hear on TikTok especially is you can't feel fat. Fat is an adjective. Well, we feel all sorts of adjectives. You can feel smart, you can feel pretty, you can feel tall, you can feel short, you can feel old. It's all about personal perspective. I am 43 years old. I am middle-aged. But when I'm around a bunch of 20-year-olds, I feel really old. But am I old? Can I say I am old? Well, I'm older than them, but I'm not old, so I feel old. Likewise, I can have a day where I feel really good about myself and I feel pretty. Or I can have a day about myself where I'm tired and I have circles under my eyes and I can feel ugly. I am not ugly. I am not pretty. I am just me, but I can feel pretty or I can feel ugly depending on the day. This is no different. Also, the perspective that someone has doesn't necessarily mean the truth of the fact. I run a lot of races, and sometimes I will be running and go, ooh, I feel fast. But then I look at the time and I'm like, oh, I was actually really slow. But does that negate the feeling? I wasn't allowed to feel fast even though I was not fast? Likewise, when we talk about intelligence, if I do really bad on a test, I'll go, oh, I feel so stupid. But isn't that far less worse than me saying I am stupid? When I say I feel an adjective about myself, it means in that point in time, that is how I feel. I know that I am not stupid, but I can feel stupid in certain moments, just like I can feel smart in certain moments. As someone that tans very, very easily in the summer, in the winter, I feel pale. Now, I would never say I am pale. I mean, I'm a brown person. Of course, I will never be pale. But in the winter, I feel pale because I am paler than I normally am. I can also have days where I feel thin. And feeling thin could be positive, but not always. I know that recently I was quite sick and I lost a lot of weight. And I remember telling my boyfriend, I feel thin, like too thin. But by BMI standards, was I really too thin? Well, I had probably a BMI of 20, which is within the healthy weight range. But for me, I felt too thin. I felt that I had lost my curves and I didn't like the body that I was in. But I knew that I wasn't actually too thin. I felt too thin. Likewise, I can feel fat. I know what size I normally am at, and if I gain weight, I have excess fat that I don't usually have, and then my clothes don't fit. But saying I am fat is wrong because I'm still at a healthy BMI. However, I can feel fat because I feel that I am fatter than I normally am. And even if I haven't actually gained any weight, certain patterns and styles of clothing can make me appear larger than I actually am. So when I look in the mirror, I'll say, oh, I feel fat in this. And that's fine. That's just about my perspective of my body and how I perceive myself to look. And sometimes I feel fat. And out of all the adjectives, fat is the only one that I can feel. I can't really feel what pretty is. I can't really feel what smart is, but I can certainly feel my jeans and I can certainly feel fat. Now, even though I know I'm entitled to have my own feelings, I won't be an a-hole. I am not going to say that I feel fat in front of friends of mine that are overweight or any other friend that has body image issues. That's just disrespectful and mean. But in the privacy of my own home, around close family and friends that don't mind if I vocalize how I feel about myself, yes, I can say that I feel fat. And if I want to post on my own social media platform that I feel fat, well, that's up to me. That's my content. One of the things that really bothers me is when I see other fat activists say that they don't want to see this content and it just keeps on popping up in their feed. Well, you have the power of the click. You don't have to click on the content. You don't have to watch it if it's not for you. I'll give you a good example. I detest mukbangs. Detest them. I find them gross and disgusting. But as a consumer of weight loss, fitness, health type of content, mukbangs are often actually put into my feed. But I don't click on them. I don't want to watch people eat 10,000 calories. I think it's gross. So I don't watch it because it's not for me. Same logic can apply to clicking on videos of thin girls saying that they feel fat. If it offends you, don't watch the video. The fat acceptance movement seems to be telling people a lot of things about what to do and what to say and now how to feel. I didn't know we had a feelings police out there, but apparently there is. But I think we should all be free to be ourselves. Be authentic to who you are. So feel pretty, feel smart, feel tall, feel short, feel ugly, feel thin, and feel fat if that is how you feel. Our opinions about ourselves do not need to be governed. But alas, this is my 25-pound yo-yo and not fat is not a feeling. So until next time, yo-yo and let's go.